Hello, everyone. It's Monday night. I'll give you a few moments to join in. Clean up my workspace here. Where's all my YouTubers? Hello, Facebook people. Oh, here they ever are. Just remember those of you watching on Facebook. Hello, Yvette. Hello, Stephanie. I'm just going to remind you guys that you see an ugly green screen behind me, and everyone else on YouTube is able to see fabulous sparkly pink background. And I don't really focus in on Facebook for questions because I am giving all my attention and being able to read people's comments through YouTube. So just remember that if you decide to watch through Facebook, that's totally fine. But if you want to interact with me and have a question asked or answered, you'll have to do that through YouTube. So hello, YouTubers. Look at us. We're YouTubers. Isn't that funny? I never thought I'd say that. I want to welcome all of you who are joining in. And while you're popping on, I want you to remember to tune in or tell me where you're tuning in from. And if this is your first time ever joining me, I do feel like this is going to be a particularly special broadcast for a couple of reasons. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Deborah Hanlon. I am an intuitive and I have the ability to be able to connect with consciousness, both deceased and alive. So I connect with the consciousness of anyone who's in front of me and the soul and the energy of people who are coming to me, and I kind of are able to tune into your energy fields to see where you're at and where we can upgrade you, or where you can upgrade you, not me. And that's what I do. So every Monday nights I come on and it gives you an opportunity to ask me questions, generalized questions, things more relatable to everyone. So it's not typically personal intuitive questions, but it's more generalized. So you guys have an opportunity to learn and really master your own intuition. That is my goal. So tonight I really do want to address this obvious holiday season that is now upon us starting this Thursday. And I know I love Thanksgiving. I have always loved Thanksgiving. Every single year it brings me back to my grandmother's tiny little living room in her one-bedroom apartment because she was old already and she was living alone, widowed at 44, actually. And she would just do so much in the kitchen, and I wasn't used to that, and I didn't really see that in my upbringing. And so Thanksgiving always reminds me of my grandmother, and it didn't occur to me just how difficult it is to put together a Thanksgiving event until I did it a few years ago. And it was, I don't know how many years ago it was, but it just made me realize, oh my God, Grandma, I wish I had told her, like, wow, that was amazing that she did it all by herself in this tiny little kitchen. And she would make a big giant turkey. And she had one of those couches with the plastic on the couch so you couldn't get it messy. She was one of those, that generation. So that was, I don't know why they did that. That was horrible. But her couch was always spotless. So Thanksgiving always reminds me of truly things that matter the most: friends, family, food, drinking, getting around, sitting around together to talk. It's not about presents. It's not about, what did I get? What'd you get me? How come I didn't get this? I really don't particularly care for Christmas because of that aspect, but Thanksgiving is my favorite. So I look forward to this week. I always take Wednesday off beforehand so I can actually start cooking, which, believe it or not, I actually do cook Thanksgiving. Greg does the turkey, and I do pretty much everything else. I have desserts coming from a couple different areas, including Jen Peterson. I don't know if she's here, but her treats are amazing. So Thanksgiving, I love it. It's my favorite time of year, but I'm also very aware, because of all of you, of how difficult this time of year is for so many of you who are grieving the loss of a loved one of any shape or form. And it's a difficult time for that reason, because everyone, including media and commercial and marketing, it's all geared to, like, yay, family, and yay, everyone's going to get together, and it's going to be beautiful and wonderful. And it's not really how it goes. And I know all of you are knowing what I'm talking about. A lot of work and you have a lot of dynamics and you're getting together with family, and that presents its own challenges for many people. And then adding on top people who are grieving, it could be your first holiday season without a loved one, a family member, a friend, a pet, and it could be your 41st, and it's still a difficult time. So I want to talk tonight a little bit about how you can grieve during the holiday season and still have believe that they're with you, because we often feel the absence of their presence the most during this time. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I also want to talk about what not to say to people who are grieving, because there's just a whole slew of things of not to say. Um, and then I want to go over a little bit about how you can really connect with your loved ones, whoever they are, in a meaningful way, whatever that means to you. So those are a couple things that I want to go over first before I take your questions. But starting to with, let's see, what to say to those who are grieving. So many times people come to me and they're talking about how awkward others make them feel because they're grieving. And sometimes people like will see someone in the store and they'll actually dart away from them because they know they just lost a family member and they don't want to, make someone cry in the middle of the store. So what not to do during the holidays, or what to say to those who are grieving: acknowledge it, acknowledge their pain. Maybe they're having a good moment. And if you're having a good moment, when someone asks you, that person most likely will say, well, right this moment, I'm feeling okay. So I either don't want to talk about it or I totally want to talk about it. But not addressing someone who's grieving and kind of leaving it open to as the elephant in the room is not a good idea. So just everyone's uncomfortable around loss. Everyone's uncomfortable around vulnerability and grief and sadness and loss, and no one knows what the right thing is to say, because typically there really isn't a right thing to say. So just remember, address those who are grieving, acknowledge them, check in on people who are grieving. Hey, I just want to check in that you're having a good, you're having all right time. I want you to know I'm thinking about you. Those little tiny messages, whether it's a text or a message, a Facebook message, whatever it is, it means a lot to people. So take a moment to think about those who are grieving or have lost someone or have been going through a difficult time, and reach out to them and just say, I'm thinking of you. I don't want you to feel alone. We might not be able to get together, but I just want you to know you're on my mind. That's huge. That's huge. Very simple too. So address those who are grieving, reach out to them, acknowledge their boundaries. So if you keep saying, come on, come on, come on over, I want you over, and they really aren't up to it, let them be, for the most part, let them be. If it's somebody who's has, extreme grief, make sure they're not alone, but really honor people. Everyone typically comes around in their own time. So don't force any extra partying, because someone who's grieving is really not in the mood to get in the spirit of the holidays at all, and you don't need to. So let's just honor that. Don't say things like, oh, come on, it's the holidays, we're supposed to, get together and appreciate those we love. We know that. We all know that. And that's why this time makes it hard. So really offering your presence to those who are grieving, who are alone, that's super important. It's okay for those of you grieving not to feel in the spirit of the holidays. Why would you? It's okay. And so many times social media is posting everybody's having this great time. Very few people are posting the volcanic family disruption and dysfunction that's really happening behind the scenes. So just remember that not everybody's is a postcard and perfect. And even if it is perfect, that's a wonderful thing too. I mean, I'm certainly not putting it down and making it seem like everybody's family's all fucked up, but we pretty much all are. But also there's moments within the chaos that are perfect and beautiful too. So if someone's not in the spirit, don't try to get them in the spirit, just honor them. Let's see what else. And then how to connect with them. Please know that they are with you. Your loved ones who have passed, they're still here. They are not grieving. like we are here. They are fine. And like I've say from the beginning, they have the good spot. They're connected to you. They're still present. They're able to be at your Thanksgiving table and six other relatives' Thanksgiving tables and waking up watching the parade with you or whatever your routines and traditions were. They're still able to have the consciousness around those things. So just know that they're still here, even if you don't feel them. A lot of times we don't. I am a medium. I feel your people. It is harder for me to feel my own people because just like you, the asshole brain or the logical mind gets in the way, and that's normal. We can't really totally, um, override that. So just be aware of that. If you don't feel them around, it's not because they're not. It's just because you're being human. So that's that. How to connect with them. Remember that they're there and use your imagination. Just pretend they're there. If someone had a certain seat at the table or you always made that phone call every year at a certain time, use your imagination and really engage that imagination and pretend they are still with you because they are. And the reason why I always say the word pretend, I'm not trying to get people to fake it till you make it. It's not that philosophy. It's pretend because pretending actually activates the intuitive mind, the intuitive part of ourselves. And it suspends the logical mind. It tells the logical mind, hey, give me a minute. I would just like to pretend they're with me so the grief isn't so bad. And the logical mind will let you do that. So pretend they're sitting there, pretend you're having a conversation with them. You can set a a place at the table for them. Whatever you feel like you need to do, go ahead and do that, even if you feel silly. If it's something that you need to do, please do it. Honor your own needs around this time because it is a sensitive time. And it is a time that if we can really get true and honest, then we can enjoy the holidays. And if you can do it on your own terms, then you can enjoy it. So finally, when you ask them for signs, just don't get specific. Don't say, hey, you know what, if you make so-and-so drop their fork 3 times at the table, I'll know you're there. Don't get specific with them. Just thank them for showing up. Thank them for letting you know they're around and really extending the hard part of having faith or belief or trust in the fact that their energy and their consciousness is still around you. Those are my holiday ideas and tips for grieving and believing through these holiday times. So having said all that, I think I've got all my notes. I do want to address that we're all human, and a lot of times people say, "Oh, must be so lucky for you to have this ability, and I wish I could be in your head, and I wish I could do this too." And I get that from the outside. It seems pretty freaking cool, but like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that I have this direct connection to my own people because I'm human. So, regardless of whether we feel connected or not, when we're here in human form, we miss others who were here in human form and are not here in that way. So, it's the same. Mediums still need to grieve. Mediums still feel that physical disconnection. It's a part of being human and we can't get around it. So, just remember that. All right, I'm seeing my son is on here tonight, so we'll change things up just a little bit. Hello, Jill and Mary Jean and Maria and Pam, Antonetta, Eileen, hello, Marge, Grace. Ooh, pumpkin martinis. My gosh. Jack said he did the lemming trick and it worked. I think you're lying to me, Jack Harrison, because I don't recall buying you lemons. So the lemon trick does work. A friend of mine did it for her boss just last night. And she texted me saying, okay, I put so-and-so's name in a lemon and she hasn't liked the dynamic. And she texted me first thing this morning, oh my God, my boss called out sick this morning. So she said, okay, it might not have changed the energy for always, but for today, I clearly gave my boss a virus so that she couldn't come in. So the lemon trick does work. And Carolyn, hello. I'm doing very fine this evening. Hello, Kim. Yeah, the lemon trick, I'm telling you guys, it really does work. Okay. Ooh, Maria, you always have great recommendations for Books, Ordinary People, addresses the downfall of unexpressed grief and how people just don't know what to say to those who have lost loved ones. It is a big thing. Everyone feels very awkward, and if you're feeling awkward about what to say to someone, address that. Say, I feel terrible. Like, I don't even know what to say. You can say those words. There's no words that I can say. Sometimes people will say, oh, look at the bright side. They're in a better place. Don't say that one. Nobody likes that one. We already know they're in a better place. For the most part, we do know that. That's not the point when someone is first missing. We know they're in a fucking better place, and we'd rather be in that fucking better place with them. So that's another thing not to say. Oh, they're in a better place. They are with you, and they are in a better place, but we're not in a better place when someone dies. So that's what's really, really important to remember. So hello, Kathleen from Queens. Justin, hello. I'm so glad to see you on here, and thank you. So let's see. Melissa, is your first time tuning in? I love to see where everyone's coming in from. Tracy, hello. Sharon, Tyler, Deb, Lisa. Lisa, if you can message me on Facebook, I do want to let you know about something. Lisa Rivera. So I tried to look you up on Facebook and I couldn't find you, so maybe you don't have one. And if you don't, just email me, Deborah at deborahhanlon.com, or you could email the office. So this forum is for me to answer generic questions, so it's not particularly for personal, intuitive questions. Let's see. Okay, Tracy, this is a great one. Tracy Stevens. Tracy's asking, can your loved ones who pass over connect with people who they necessarily didn't know, but who you are connected with? Maybe to send them messages on your behalf. That's a great question. I love this because people get their minds blown over this one. Not only do they meet, yes, if two people that you knew here did not know each other, they absolutely will meet on the other side. They'll know exactly who the other is. They will know all of your dynamics and relationships through your energy. But it doesn't end there. When we say, or it's said, that we are all one and we're all connected, this is a very big principle that we all need to really listen to and get. Now that I'm addressing your question, Tracy, and everyone else who's on this thread who is listening, I need you to hear this, because if we're connecting, our people are connecting. So my loved ones on the other side, my grandmother who did Thanksgiving, and aunts and brother and uncle. Do I have uncles? Yeah, I have uncles that are passed. And whomever else, cousins who are passed. I don't think I have any cousins who are passed. I don't think so. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, you guys get, yeah, I do have a cousin who's passed. But anyway, they are meeting your people, whoever you are. If your ears are hearing me say this, my people and your people are meeting on the other side, or maybe they met on the other side, which is why we're connecting here tonight. We don't know which is, it's like the chicken or the egg. We don't know which one comes first. And if there is indeed a first at all, because there's no such thing as time. So it's a simultaneous interconnection. There's a physics term for that, and it's escaping my mind. If anyone has that concept and what the physics term is, write it down here. But yes, your people and my people will meet anyone we connect with here, whether it's the person who is taking our order at a deli, to the person who is sitting next to us on a bus, to our college professors, to our bosses, whoever we connect with here on this plane, our loved ones and their loved ones will connect as well, or they connected first. So that's a great question. Okay, Lisa, make sure you email me. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Patty. Okay, Sarah, you've heard that when you cross over, you remain a certain age. Is that true? That's a tricky one. It's answered very differently according to different mediums. I have seen them change age. I usually don't ask them to come in as the age they were when they passed, because that is very confusing. So for a medium, for me to understand how they know you, the person sitting in front of me. So for example, if I had someone sitting in front of me and they had a brother who passed, like me. At 4 years old, my brother passed. If I'm sitting with me today and I see a 4-year-old little boy, I would think logically as a medium, oh, they have a son or a nephew who's passed. I'm not sure that I would say, oh, you had a 4-year-old little brother. So I don't ask them to show up in their actual age. I ask them to show up as how you are related. So for instance, in that case, a 4-year-old brother would show up on the right side of the person. That shows me they're a brother. Their energy would come very close to that person. That would shows a brother. A brother-in-law might go a little bit smidge over more towards the right. A cousin, a close friend, they would subsequently go out, but they're in your side, which means they're your peer. They're your brother, your cousin, your friend. Similarly, if it's a sister, I would see an energy on your left side, and that would be sister, sister-in-law, cousin, very good friend. They'll show up as your peers, but they may have passed at 4 years old, but they'll show up as your peers. Mothers show up on the left side. I always have my left and rights wrong. On the left side, right about here in someone's energy field. Mother-in-law is about here. A mother figure is kind of like right there, so it's sometimes hard to see. Maybe you had a grandmother who raised you like a mom. So for me, again, they don't show up necessarily by their age, but by their relationship to you. And of course, there's times when I'm totally wrong, where I think it's an uncle and it's your dad, or I think it's your brother and it's your dad. There's not a perfect science to it. So other people will say that, yes, they stay that age. Other mediums have said that they are around the age of 30. I don't really agree to any of that. I've seen them show up at all sorts of ages. At a recent, about a month ago, gallery up in Albany, there was a woman in the audience who had an infant who passed. And I think, if I remember correctly, the infant I think she was 2 months old, and she passed. And the little girl was adamant about the fact that she was 7 years old. She kept saying, tell my mommy I'm growing up. I'm growing up over on the other side, and I'm about 7 years old. So it had not been 7 years since she had passed. I think it was like 14 or longer. I don't remember the details of that part, but I know it wasn't 7 years. It was longer. So she just kept showing me she's 7. So it really does vary. It totally varies. All right, to Allison. Yeah, how about the people who ask you, are you over it yet? Newsflash, you never get over it. It's about giving yourself time to incorporate it into your overall experience to adjust to your new reality. Yeah, a lot of times people will say to me, oh my gosh, people think I should be over it by now. And I don't, there may be some people who are completely socially inadequate and have absolutely no skill base of humanity that will say, when are you over it? Which boggles my mind. I thankfully have not met any of those people, but people who have had people say that to them come to me often. But also, there is a phenomenon where when we're grieving, there's a part of us that expects ourselves to be over it. And so we we project that thought thinking, oh my gosh, people must think, when am I going to get over it? When am I going to get over it? And you're not. But we have to be careful not to make the assumption that people are thinking that, because most people are not thinking that. Even if it's 20 years, it's if you won't leave your house because it's 20 years, I mean, we need to get some intervention going on. But there really isn't any getting over it ever. It's the old cliches of moving through it or incorporating it into overall experience. That's another great way of saying it. But sometimes I think we have to be mindful of our own expectations of ourselves that we're projecting onto other people. And sometimes people say the dumbest things. They just do because their own discomfort with grief and someone grieving. And so we misinterpret that their comment must mean that I should be over it. So I would challenge everyone to be a little bit more aware if that's the dynamic within ourselves. And I do really feel like that's a very human dynamic. I also think it's kind of a coping mechanism that we think that there's a point that we're going to get over this so that we can reach for something or have something to look forward to that time when we're over it. So I do think that's really originates from within the griever and then gets projected out at a lot of people. Having said that, there are also people that say the dumbest shit ever. So you're going to always have those few outliers that just have no social skills. And also those who say that, like, they clearly have never grieved anything ever. So that's bizarre. Let's see. Ooh, just watched It's a Wonderful Life. Again, do you think it would be possible after you cross to see what effect you had on others' lives? First of all, you will all be astounded to know that I have never seen that movie. I know. Every year I go through this, people go, what the heck? What do you mean you've never seen that movie? I have not seen the movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I get the gist of it. People tell me about it. But I've never seen the whole thing. I will. One of these years I will. But yes, 100%. Not that it's possible, but it's a thing where during our life review, we absolutely see the positive and negative effect that we have on people. So in our life review, we will rewind our life from the moment we are in our death and go backwards systematically very, very quickly. I mean, quantum physics in a nanosecond. But it will feel like we are reversing our life, and we will see points in our life that were highlights where we had a really wonderful effect on someone, as well as having a negative effect on someone. And I wrote about this in my book, that I gave the example of, say we made fun of someone in 4th grade on the bus. When we go through our life review, we are going to experience that moment again, and we are going to feel what negative impact we've had on people as well, which we say, oh my God, I'm screwed. I'm going to have the worst life review, or oh my God, I'm going to be up for sainthood. But it's really so that we can understand through the vantage point of whomever we've hurt or helped. We get both. And the name of the game of life is you're going to have both. Everyone is going to have. Mother Teresa had both. She would have she had negative experiences that she had to relive. But from that, we gain evolution. We gain empathy. We gain compassion. We gain understanding. We gain perspective. And that is the point of that. So it's not all bad. Even the stuff that we have done and we've hurt others, whether it's intentional or not, we will relive those moments and experience what our actions had effect on someone. Let's see. And I can't remember the reading that really drove that home. I mean, they alluded that to me for years, but there was a reading that drove that point home, and it's not clicking with me right this second. But there was a particular reading that made me go, oh my gosh, I get it. How long does it take people who pass to find their other loved ones who passed previously? Instantaneously. So it's not like there's a search. There really is no waiting period for them who have crossed over. If you didn't know your great grandparent, which I don't know anybody who does, the moment you cross over, you're going to know exactly who they are, who their energy is, what they were all about, what their whole life was about. We know all that. I call it crossing over the greatest, like the great ultimate download of all time, because we download all of the experiences of all of our ancestors, and whose lives they've touched positively and negatively. So consciously, we are connected through consciousness, through our ancestors and their experiences. That makes sense? I have twins. Have they always been twins in all their lives? Probably not. But they most definitely have been in each other's lives in a significant way multiple times. Not all their lifetimes, but multiple times. Maybe they were husband and wife. Maybe they were brother, sister, but older, younger. Maybe they were grandparent and grandchild, husband, wife, whatever the dynamic is. So no doubt they have been together before, but not necessarily always twins, and not necessarily always siblings. Could be anything. It could be enemies too. It could be, and I'm not saying this specifically for you, so don't go like in your head, Melissa, and be like, oh my God, is she alluding to that? But maybe one in another lifetime took the other's life from, they shot him, and now they're coming into this lifetime to resolve that. So you never know. You never really know. Justin, do you believe our lives are predestined? Like there is a blueprint for our lives and there are no coincidences, or do we actually have the ability to change things in our lives? I love this question. It's both. And people don't like that. People like an either or answer for that. People are like, no, just tell me if it's predetermined or tell me if I'm the maker and creator of it. So we are constantly living on many, many, many different dimensions of potential realities. Right now, as you're listening to this, right now, as I'm speaking this, right now, as you're hearing this, we're living multiple layers of different realities. So on one hand, there's lessons to be learned in all of those realms and dimensions. Realms, not dimensions, not realms. Realms is a different term. So in all those different layers, we have the same lessons. So say our lesson in this lifetime is loss. And we have to understand loss of finances, loss of people, loss of privilege, loss, right? If that is going to be your lesson through all the different possible potential realities, so we're here to learn loss, but the way we learn it is what we have free will about. So we can either learn it with consciousness and upgrade and address it and without fear and looking straight at it as, okay, here it is, which is not an easy thing to do by any means. So we can change the outcome. So it is both. We come here at certain lessons. Those lessons are pretty much predetermined, but how we receive those lessons and what we learn from those lessons are our own free will. So what do we do with that? That's why an awakened soul is a peaceful soul. That is why someone who's going, okay, I'm getting the pattern. Okay, I can see the patterns of our own thinking, of our conditioned mind. And once we break those conditional patterns, we start upgrading into a better dimension. Maybe still get the same lessons, but we learn them in a better way. So we can have loss, but we can have abundance with loss. Does that make sense? I hope so. So it's both. You have predetermined, you have free will, but there's a lot that's predetermined. Also predetermined that cannot be changed is when we pass. The time and day when we pass is the time and day we are going to pass. That we can change how we pass, but we cannot change when we pass. So this is a difficult concept for a lot of people because they're back and forth on that because we all have the woulda, coulda, shouldas. If only I did this, if only this happened, if only that didn't happen. That to me is literally the definition of hell on earth. Maria, if life is a horrible struggle for some people, why would they have chosen to be born? It's a great question. And we struggle with this because nobody wants to say, oh, well, they asked for it, because no one is saying that. So, and I know Maria gets me, but anyone else tuning in, what I am not saying is, oh, they asked for it. They asked for this, but we did ask for what lessons we're coming in for. We did kind of get like the rundown, the script. We got the script of the movie of our lives before we came in here. And we agreed, yes, okay, I'm all on board for that. And we really are like Truman Show people. Like we're all these characters and we're all playing these roles and we're totally unconscious playing these roles. And we make everything very, very serious of what is in the here and now. And we take everything seriously and we have to defend our ego and our who we are, who we think we are. And all of that is just crap. It is totally crap. So why would someone choose struggle? It's the ultimate reward to struggle is overcoming it, is seeing it through, is knowing that, okay, this is awful and it still didn't change who I am, or it changed who I am in a better way, made me more aware. Why? I just watched the movie Harriet, which I made a post yesterday, which I need to go see it again and again and again. It was recommended to me by my mentor, Anne, and she said, Deborah, she knows where I'm at in my life right now. And she says, you have to see this movie. If anyone knows me, they know that I hate going to the movies because there's always the person with the noisy wrapper sitting behind me that it takes them 14 minutes to open up one talking lozenger, right? You all know that person. And we had it. Jack was actually at the movie with me, and we had the 14-minute lozenger opener sitting to our right. So I get really tense in the movies. So when people say, you have to see that movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to, because I can't handle my OCD, people crunching on popcorn, hearing soda. I can't stand it. But I went. Jack and I went yesterday, and it was amazing, unbelievably inspiring and amazing. I highly recommend it for many, many reasons. One, it's a story that, yeah, we have a little bit of background on, but you know what? It's really important to see and really kind of experience the history of our nation at that time and how horrid our nation's policies were, I'll put it that way, about owning people and how horrible that is, and that we should really learn. I don't think anyone today would agree, like, yeah, that was a great idea. But we need to see it, because as aware as I am, I really am not aware of our history. So that's important. Two, Harriet Tubman was so inspiring. She had visions. She had intuition. I didn't know this. This wasn't, I don't remember learning this in history books. And I took a history of New York State, which she lived in New York State. I had no idea. So she saw these visions, and it was her, she said she's talking to God, or God's talking to her. And it was her intuition that led her journeys back and forth. I think it was 12 times, but I might be mistaken on the amount of times, back and forth, north to south. She never lost a single slave in that entire time. She listened in tune with her intuition and had a faith and a trust and a belief in knowing that she would be taken care of no matter what the circumstances are. And these were pretty awful circumstances. It's inspiring. Why am I going on a tangent on that? Because I would think to myself, she had a horrible life. Horrible. Slave, uh, abused, beaten, sold, um, injured with a major injury to her head. Long story. Why would she choose that? But she chose that because her soul overcame it. And her soul got that glory of knowing, like, she made a difference in people's lives in a very impactful, profound way. And I really do believe that is our soul's purpose. Every single one of us here have an innate need and desire to feel that we have helped another person or animal or plant, and we've made a difference. I really do believe we all need that. So I would say that a horrible struggle for someone choosing that is to overcome it and then share it, be that little light, well, big light of inspiration to others. That's my take on it. Okay, when you are doing a reading and you're connecting to an energy, or when someone is trying to come through to you, do you feel anything physically, or do you just see them? Oh, I feel a lot physically. My body itself is the tool. So if, somebody had a weird mannerism of like biting their lip or biting their nails, that's a big one that I get a lot. Or people like to pace, or there's a lot of men at a certain time period that they shifted their weight if they stood still, and I could feel those nuances. Uh, Older females, not all of them, but tend to always have like not all of them, but I could feel if they have a tissue in their hand or they stuffed a tissue right here, like I'll feel these sensations, and that's how I know, like, oh my gosh, she still has her tissue right here. Or oh my God, they're biting their nails. So my body is my tool, and I'm tuning in and paying close attention to everything I'm getting. And when I see them in my mind's eye. I don't see them visually like you're seeing me right now or seeing the room around you. I don't see them that way. I don't want to see them that way. That's not the way I do it. It's all processed through my mind. So today, actually, I had a woman on the other side, and she did show me in my mind's eye the shiniest blonde hair I've ever seen. And it was like Gwyneth Paltrow blonde, and it was so shiny. And that was significant to the person. So I see it in my mind's eye more than anything else. But it's totally, totally, totally tuning in to every sensation and thought and vision and song and voice and name that's coming to me at any point, and really tuning in and knowing which thread to focus in on, if that makes sense. Um, let's see. Maria, could they have said no? Going back to your other question, they probably wouldn't say no because they're choosing it. So they're kind of it's kind of like this is like a really ridiculous analogy, so bear with me. You know me by now. But say you are um doing community service and you could either be the person who is um, baking the goods or taking away the trash or replanting a garden, and you get to sign up for which one. You kind of get to look over like, do I want to bake the goods? Do I want to take out the trash? Do I want to clean the house? Do I want to do the garden? And so you're signing up for it in a way. Think of it in that way. So you're signing up. So it's not really like, hey, you're taking out the garbage. It's more like, all right, I'll do that. I'll be the garbage taker outer. Technical term. Mary, your comment is confusing me. Our loved ones' human imperfections and speak of them. Do they understand it, or can we hurt someone that has crossed over by speaking candidly? They don't get hurt. Truth is truth. Truth meaning truth as you saw it. So someone could explain someone being the most kindest, generous, loving human ever. And then you could speak to another family member of that person and go, what are you talking about? They were so rude and crabby. So the same person can have a very, very different personality based on who is observing them and in relationship with them. So based on your truth of them, they are not hurt by your truth. They understand your truth from your truth, which is why it's so cool. I always say they've got the good spot. They finally understand you and your needs and what was met, what wasn't met. They understand where they failed, where they succeeded, and it's not a shame fest anymore. It's not a, oh crap, I suck. That's not what they're doing. It's more like an intake of like, oh my gosh, I wasn't aware that I shouldn't have done X, Y, and Z. Or I totally was aware and I did that deliberately, and now I see the outcome and the ramifications. So it's all for soul emotional growth in a way. So no, they're not angry or hurt. But always, we all have to always remember that it's our truth or our perception of a person, which does not define a single person. And I've said this before. I mean, you have crazy mass murderers who have people and friends and family who love them. I mean, Epstein, the guy Epstein. I mean, I don't follow this too much, so I know nothing other than his name and a tiny little bit. But from what you hear about, I can't even think of his first name, the Epstein guy is a pretty horrible man, right? I mean, you hear pretty horrible things, but there are people who will say he was such a great guy. So, which is true. Both are true. Both are true based on other people's perceptions. So we have to remember that. And that's sometimes really easy to remember and like gives us relief. And then other times that's maddening because it's like, no, I want everybody to see what a shithead so and so is. And your perception is your perception, and just own your perception as such. And you're not wrong with your perception, but just know it's just a sliver of a multidimensional truth experienced through everybody's experiences of each other. Does that make sense? Do I not say, does that make sense like so many times? And I always say that because I make sense to myself, because I'm never out of this world. I'm always thinking in these terms, reading, studying, listening, tuning in, uh, observing 24/7. So I understand my words. And sometimes I think, was I saying that correctly? Did it come across in ways that make sense for people? Because that is my goal. I want to teach. That's my job from day one. I want to teach all of this for everybody's better empowerment and feeling connected and good. Let's see. Oh, Jasmine, I'm having a hard time this year with my child I lost due to miscarriage. Remember or know who I am? Of course they will. They never leave you. And I always call the children who are miscarried and or aborted, babies that never got to physically come here on the planet. They left while they were in utero. I call them the angel babies because to me, they're the highest, pristine, maybe I shouldn't say highest, the most pristine, purest form of energy in human form because they didn't get to be born to start getting messed up and screwed up because we all what I mean by screwed up is like we get warped. We view things from our perception. That's the warp. Um, so your little one absolutely will step forever be with you and never leave. Never, 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 never leave. And they're angel baby. They're powerful. So you call on them for almost everything, pretty much everything. And I'm sorry to hear that you went through that this year. I had a family member just this month as well, very close family member, also suffer a miscarriage. And oh, I was sobbing for her. Oh, absolutely sobbing, like so, so, so devastated for this family member who was so excited to be pregnant. And then 10 weeks in, she's just right after she announced to everybody. So it's a very painful thing. Okay. Regina, you believe in fairies and incarnated angels. How do you feel about this subject? It's a subject I don't know enough about, and I talk about this a lot because I cannot prove those realms. Those realms are more difficult for me as a medium, but I do know actually this weekend at my center, Shireen Baff is going to be there with her Intentions jewelry, which is these crystal Swarovski crystal bracelets that she channels energies of angels and saints and sages and gods and goddesses, and they are outrageous, and you hold them and you feel them, and she does like a little mini reading of like, this is the one that's with you and these are your guides. Super powerful stuff. But because of the way I'm wired, I can't do that realm because there's always that human part of me that's going, how do I know that's true? How do I know if that's really their angel or their guide or their whatever? So I am not the person that's well schooled on it. What I don't like about those realms is that they're often taught as if they are higher than human energy. And I said, I think it was last week where I talked about how the concept of hierarchy in energy terms, as far as angels and saints and um, gods and goddesses, that they're higher or better or more evolved than human energy. That I don't like because hierarchy is a human concept. Um, in nature, there's not a tree that's more important than a blade of grass. Both of them know that they are simultaneously existing to support each other. They're interconnected. So there's no such thing as hierarchy in anywhere in nature, anywhere in pristine energy. It's just humans that created that concept. So that's where I don't like. So if you're talking about gods and goddesses and angels and all of that, just think of them as embodied forms of particular splinters of energy. In other words, when they say you pray to Saint Anthony for something lost, his energy is focused and guided for whatever reasons. I don't know who comes up with those. He's the patron saint of lost items, or lost causes. Is that him? But anyway, uh, the energy is channeled that way. So you pray to that god or goddess or angel or saint for those specific reasons. Raphael, the angel Raphael. Raphael, I'm mentioning it again, Justin, if you're still here. See, here he is. He's winking at you. So the angel Raphael is for healing, right? And well, now I'm hearing your Raphael. If you asked Justin for Raphael's name to be brought up tonight to get a wink, you just got it because I feel like I hear him saying that. Where am I? Raphael, the angel Raphael is for healing. So people are in tune to ask him for that. So his brand of energy is healing. Does that make sense? I think that's going to be on my next bracelet that I make. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, Maria, does the perspective we gain after the life review, especially when we were negative towards others, play a significant role in our lives when we come back to Earth? Absolutely. Hopefully we remember it. We remember the negative experiences. We probably don't remember it. But it is there for the purpose of awareness, of trying to remember. So there's this whole school of thought about that bullying, and the concept of bullying is worse now because it's very easy to say negative things to a person through a computer, through your phone. And because they're saying, sociologists are saying, and psychologists are saying that when we hurt someone's feelings face to face, we feel and see through our facial expressions, and we can feel the energy of somebody, of how they felt when we made a comment. And in human connection and dialogue, we that is data that gives us information, and we hurt them, we experience it, we feel the hurt, and it makes us think twice. It hopefully makes us think twice. Most people, it does make you think twice. When we're saying it just to say it through a computer, we don't have that visual cue or that energetic cue. And so it's just blasted and nastier. So hopefully, same concept. When we're in another lifetime, hopefully we have that energetic response or memory of, this didn't feel so good the first time. Or we come back, we become mean and terrible again, but we learn quicker because we've experienced this before in another lifetime. So it's not brand new, so to speak. And this is a difficult conversation too to have because it plays on words and semantics. But remember, those lifetimes didn't come before or after. They're all happening at the same time. So that's when all of this gets like really wonky. Really wonky. Mary, do they have feelings in the afterlife? Like, do they still hold on to love, hate, in our lives when we come back to Earth? No, they don't hold on to those. Nope. Like, do they hold? Yeah, love, hate, jealousy, anger. They do not hold on to that stuff. Those are human emotions. They do not experience them. In a reading, they might express them because that's how we connect here, through emotion. So in a reading today, actually it came up, I'm trying to think of the whole dynamic, but the person who had passed, I already can't remember if it was a mom or a dad who said this, had mentioned that the son that was sitting in front of me no longer speaks to a sister of his. And I'm probably remembering this totally wrong, but the siblings did not talk and the parents were like not happy about it. But were they really not happy? That's the way they're going to convey the message because we're still here in humans, so they're going to use human terms. But they already knew that was going to happen the moment they passed. They already saw the dynamics, so they're aware of it, and that it is so. That's how they look at it. It is so. This is the way it is. It is so. Oh my gosh, our dog is just barking like crazy outside. It just scared me. Let's see. Sharon, exactly, like Cindy with the wrapper. Cindy is a 14-minute lozenge opener. Oh my God. And you say 14. I don't normally say 14, Tracy, so I'm probably picking up on your vibes. Facebook people, I keep forgetting to pop over here. Make sure that if you want to ask me a question, just pop into my YouTube channel. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to still join me on Facebook, but you see the ugly green screen behind me versus the fantastic sparkly pink Pop Rocks. Oh man, I forgot to get Pop Rocks this week. Oh, I was going to do that so that I can have you listen to it. Remind me next week I have to have Pop Rocks. Let's see. When we cross over, do we reconnect with people from all our lives? Is it similar to past life regression? That's an interesting concept. Is it similar to past life regression? In a way, but you're reviewing the current life, but in that review or after that review or simultaneous during that review, you're also connecting to the different forms of you before that and the people that impacted. So again, we're like, all of a sudden we understand that we are literally a thread in a huge woven fabric of the cosmos. So is it similar to past life regression? Probably. I never thought of it that way, but that's probably a good way to explain it or experience it. And yeah, we can reconnect with people from all of our lives, but we usually feel or experience the ones from our most recent or current life first. And then it's kind of like a comet. Like there's this big bang of when we pass and all the energy of the people we know here. That's like the ball of the comet. And then it's the residual of the energies as we go back through time and forward in time. Oh, Maria. Let's see. Your father was very worried about purgatory because of the nuns when he was in school and worried he did something bad. We, of course, reassured him of this. How do I know he crossed okay? I can assure you they all cross okay because once they get there, they realize, oh my gosh, that was like human teachings and um, quite inadequate human teachings. The nuns, especially many years ago, decades ago, they taught fear. I mean, they just taught fear. That was the hierarchy, and fear is a big concept in religions of our most recent past. And I would say in the last, like, say 500 years, probably 2000 years actually. The religions before that were more nature and natural based, gods and goddesses, pagans, god of fire, god of elements, that sort of thing. And it was definitely more incorporated and inclusive. Also, prior to the like last 2000 years, a lot of religions, the heads of communities and tribes were the women, were the heads of the tribes. And at some point that switched into patriarchal, which then we went 50 shades of batshit crazy when that happened. And we're on the backswing of that matriarchal society coming back. So um, he definitely passed. And the moment he passed, he realized, oh, good, that was just part of human conditioning. And he did not have any residual fear or worries or concerns. A lot of the paranormal shows drive me, not a lot of them, all of them so far that I've seen to date drive me crazy because they all sell fear, and they all sell that concept of like, oh my gosh, they don't know that they're dead yet. Haunted broadcasts, in my local area drive me crazy when they're saying, oh my God, there's a spirit in the house and they're really mad we're here. And they're I'm trying to cross them over and I'm trying to let them know we're okay. It's like, that's the dumbest shit ever because they're fine. They already know that you're not. They know you're human. They're higher than human. They're not higher. They're more powerful. They're more aware than we are because we are energy stuck in our body, which means we're stuck in a framework and a perspective. And we can grow out of that and expand that, but it really gets liberated from our bodies once we cross over. So he is fine. I promise you. They all have the good spot. Do I have any recommendations of literature exploring ancestral healing or becoming deeply aware of the patterns within my family? One approach is both intuitively and guided. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't have any off the top of my head of ancestral healing. The sutras actually allude to this a little bit, or not the sutras. Oh my God, what is the text in Hindu? It'll come to me. But the concept of ancestral healing is that when we do heal a thread in our current life, we actually help heal. I've heard the prior 3 generations and the next 3 generations, but I've also heard that expanded up to the 7 generations before us. So say alcoholism is a thread in your history, in your DNA. If you in this lifetime do not become an alcoholic, then you actually help heal your parents, and their parents. So going back to your great grandparents, and you help heal that thread, as well as your children, your grandchildren, and great grandchildren, 3 or up to 7 generations. But I can't think of off the top of my head a good ancestral healing book. If you email my office, I do know somebody named Twyla. She might be able to point you into a better, unless Twyla's on tonight. And if Twyla is on, let me know. James, hello. Hello. Happy belated birthday to you, James. Okay. If someone passes unexpectedly and tragically, did they choose that way to go? Yeah, probably. We can choose the way we go. We can't change when we go. So going back on the conversation that Justin asked earlier, if we pass in that way, we were resonating on one of those dimensions of potential realities, and that was the one we were resonating with. So meaning it was meant to happen that way based on the way our mind was geared, our thoughts were geared, our programming, if you will. So we can change that programming, but um, unexpectedly and or tragically in human terms doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for them. I mean, nobody wants to pass like that, but souls don't say, "Oh my God, now I passed tragically. I I'm stuck here forever." So once they've crossed, but basically what I'm saying is once they've crossed, they're no longer attached to even how they passed. We are the ones who are left behind dealing with the tragedy, but they are not. Oh my God, Justin, we're exact same regarding going to the movies. Have a 7,000 empty seats. Oh my God, 7,000 empty seats, and they sit right in front or behind in the exact 100%. Please go see Harriet. Please, Justin, see it. No, the movies. It's a very like serious thing that I even went to the movies because I just feel like I don't like humanity when I go to the movie theaters and crunching like popcorn. Like, my God, can we all not eat for like freaking 2 hours? Can we just give ourselves 2 hours? Trust me, I'm a candy and popcorn girl. But this time I was like, I'm not eating. I don't need to eat. I'm just going to here to watch a freaking movie for 2 hours. My body is not going to die. So that drives me crazy. I hear, oh my God. It drives me nuts. So sounds, and then to think your feet are sticky because someone spilled soda. I don't know. I'm skeeving out. So good thing for Netflix, I guess. I don't know. No, I have a whole shit list about Netflix too. So that's another whole rant. But absolutely everybody see Harriet, please. You read a good article about people who have received a heart from a donor. The recipient actually takes on the personality of the person who donated the heart. The heart has a memory. Yes, all of our organs have memory. All of our cells have memory. Science is proving this over and over and over, where someone has, say, a heart transplant or a liver transplant, and all of a sudden they're craving beer and wings. And then they find out that their donor, that's what they ate all the time, or that's what they ate right before they passed, or fascinating. There's a book, oh my God, and it's something heart. Something heart. And if the article had to do with that book, let me know. But there's a lot of books about this, and science absolutely is proving over and over that the cells are carrying our memories, not necessarily a location in the brain. Oh, cool, Tracy. I love that. Something you told me about 8 years ago. Hold on, everybody. It's all about me right now. Told me about 8 years ago that 100% didn't make sense and couldn't be true, just came to light recently. Thought you would enjoy that. And I never doubted you. I knew it would make sense one day. Yeah, right. You're probably like, what the hell? This girl doesn't know what she's talking about. Actually, I'm just kidding. My friend, Chris, told me same thing. And the time period was 8 years too. So I had done a reading for her, and 8 years later, she said, oh my God, it finally, we understood what was talked about. So I love that. Totally, totally love that. Hello, Nancy. Oh, Mary, I'm just seeing your comment. You meant you have an incredible way with words, my dear, when describing things that are oftentimes difficult to explain. Thank you. Yeah, including my foul mouth. My other bracelet, actually, Michelle told me, I said something to Michelle the other day. I said, well, that's 50 shades of bullshit to Michelle. We were in the office talking about something, and she was there. She's like, that's your next bracelet. 50 shades. That's 50 shades of bullshit. Like, I don't know. I say 50 shades of bullshit all the time, and I never even realized it until Michelle was like, we need to make a bracelet that says that. So maybe that'll be another one. Let's see. Oh, yes, Jill, that happens all the time. When someone in our family we didn't necessarily know in this lifetime come through with a message for us, like maybe a family member who passed before we never knew them. Yes, they do all the time. They absolutely do. Those are the ones that people don't necessarily like think of at the time of the reading, and they're like, I have no idea who you're talking about. And then later they're like, oh my God, I asked my family and you were connecting to Uncle so and so, and I didn't even know the guy. So that happens a lot. And why does that happen? I don't know. It varies. Ah, my goodness. Oh, Nancy. Yeah, that's pretty intense. Yeah, Raphael, I'm still back. I'm still going through all these Saint Rita. Is it true if a loved one comes to you in your dreams or actually visiting you? Yes, if the dream is positive and loving and they're happy and healthy and whole, yes, that's a visitation dream. If they are upset, angry, can't get to you, don't want to talk to you, if it's a feeling like disturbing of the dream, that's a projection dream, meaning all of your emotions surrounding something, whether it's that person's death or something just disturbing in your current life, is being projected on someone um, in that moment. Okay. Your ability to speak off the cuff and enlighten us with so much information blows my mind. Well, there you go. I am mind blowing. Maybe that's another bracelet. I am mind blowing. I love off the cuff. Actually, people say, "Why don't you talk about this tonight?" And I literally come downstairs into the studio here in my basement, and I don't know, at 8:20, and I sit down, 8:15, 8:20. I sit down and I just pause and I think, there's something I do want to say. If that's going to come up, I'm going to come up. And the rest I love off the cuff. I hate pre-programmed discussions. I don't like that. I was asked to do I was the guest speaker at some event. I don't know what it was at this point. That's terrible. And I'm like, shit, I'm a guest speaker. I was like really excited. Like, oh my God, they asked me. They find me interesting enough to ask me. And I had some ideas, but to come up with an actual speech and like read it, no, that's not me. Nope, I'm much better off the cuff. I'm like, oh look, a squirrel. Whatever comes into my brain is what comes up there. It's what's natural and authentic. That's how I roll. Oh Mary, oh my God, I'm so not going to even answer that because I'm not getting into politics on this. Definitely not. Definitely not. And hell is here. We could say that hell is here. Yeah, thumbs up. Thank you. You could somewhere put thumbs up, not thumbs up in the comments, but like click somewhere, thumbs up. What you see and what I see are two different things. Let's see. Oh, that's a great question. Travel fun videos. You're adopted, and I want to know if I went to meet him, would my adoptive parent show up or my birth parent show up, and how would I know the difference? That happens a lot, actually, adopted parents. In fact, it happened today. Everything happened today. I sound like I'm like lying. But it happened today. The woman that was in my office mentioned adopted mother. So sometimes you might not know that person at first is an adopted parent. And then you listen back and you go, oh my gosh, that was my mother. Or that was so-and-so. Other times I've had people say, no, they're adamantly saying this is your mother. And I've had that come through with people who didn't even know they were adopted. And then they told their mom and they're like, I don't know, they were adamant they were my mother. And that's how it came out. So those stories are pretty wild. So sometimes you might know the difference. Sometimes you might not. The medium might know, like, nope, this is your adopted mother. This is your birth mother. I usually make the distinction if I'm speaking with somebody who has both. I usually refer to your biological mother as your mother, and then the woman who raised you, as your mom. So that's how I always make the distinction. Like, your mother is telling me this, or your mom is telling me that. So, and other times I'll go, I don't know who's telling me that. I don't know which one. So it really does vary. Tracy, it's not a coincidence at all. Nothing is a coincidence. It's just you're tuned in and you're listening. Tiffany, oh my God. Tiffany is writing, a medium told me that I had a demon attached to me. What does that mean? How does that happen? She said she removed it. She's 50 shades of bullshit is what she is. Seriously. One, don't go back to somebody who says that. And I'm really adamant about this. It blows my mind that someone could be so completely unconscious and unschooled and ridiculous and mentally ill to be able to say that to someone. So if a medium, if a priest, I don't care if it's a magician that materializes before your face, if they say you have a demon attached to you, no matter who they are, and I hear this all the time, that's why I get fired up. I'm not fired up at you, Tiffany. I'm fired up at like someone who would say this to people. That say you have an entity, a demon, a negative whatever, and they're attached to you, and oh, thank you, Miss Wonderful Medium, for releasing a demon. Oh, bullshit. You gotta think that I'm more powerful than this demon. No. Nope. That's fear. That's not true. It's an old belief system where I don't know where it came from, but I'm going to be definitely helpful, responsible in shooting that bullshit down, and any medium that says that. People say, oh, you have a negative entity. No, Your negative entities are of our own creation. Our own thoughts can be quote unquote demons, meaning if we think, oh man, I'm so lazy, I'm so fat, I'm so ridiculous, that's a negative entity, but it's not some attachment, creepy thing that we're terrified, like, oh my God, my life is cursed. No wonder my life isn't working out. If your life's not working out, it's probably because one, it's life, and sometimes it really sucks and it's stupid. Two, if you keep falling into the same patterns and getting yourself into the same relationships, whether, you know, any type, friendships, relationships, over and over, it's because you have shit thinking. And a shit thinking could be an entity, but it's your own, and we can change that. So anyone who tells you they have a demon, entity, anything negative attached to, they're full of shit. They are crazy. I'm not kidding. And they are trying to make themselves much more important than they are. A good medium is putting all of the power back on the person sitting in front of us. I don't want your power. I want my own power. And when I mean power, I mean my inner power, my inner connection, my connection to what feels right for me, knowing that it's right just for me. It might not be right for everyone, but it's right for me and my life and my choices. Feeling connected to who I am and what I do, feeling good about what I do. That's what I want to help people feel within themselves. And if it's some crackhead that's telling people that, then they're disturbing people's fear buttons in a very vulnerable space and time, because you are trusting someone to know better. And they are making you now think that you need them to help you. And that's not true. 100% not true. You are all your own best intuitives. You are all the most connected person for yourselves than myself or anyone else on this planet, no matter who they are, could be. A good teacher's job is to help unlock your own potential and for you to take on your own talent and your own doing. So whoever that was, I'm pissed at them. I have people come to me all the time who tell me this, and I hope that I reassure them and they know, like, no, you don't have some creepy negative bullshit hanging out with you. You probably have crap thinking and old conditioning. Traumatic events from the past can show up as just crazy anxiety and fears, but those are not entities. Those are not ghosts. Those are not demons. They are of our own creation, and they absolutely 100% can be changed for everyone, everywhere. So I'm really glad this comes up, because as you can see, I get really fired up. And I think I've told you guys a couple months ago, I had an 87-year-old woman who was terrified to come to a medium because a medium told her that her child who passed is so angry and now she has a negative energy in her house. Like, are you freaking kidding me? This makes me crazy. I'm so glad you asked that. She didn't remove shit. What happened is you believed that she removed something, which took it out of your own mind. So if she was saying, hey, I'm going to help you change your belief, I would like her. Well, no, I wouldn't. Not if she said there's a demon. But see what she did there? She made you think she removed it. But you, with your belief of something removing a negative block, let's say, helped you remove it. So you removed it from yourself. Does that make sense? Whew, I get so fired up with that. Because then I don't like telling people what I do because people think that's what I do. I tell people that demons are attached. No, that's not what I do. Oh, my goodness. When souls return, are they drawn to certain people? I'm not sure what you mean when souls return, like come back into another lifetime, if that's what you mean. We usually kind of gravitate into the same circles for the most part, but of course there's always, oh, you had like a purpose. Hold on. Right underneath that you had, when souls return, are they drawn to certain people? Oh, like are they drawn to help certain people? Yeah, I would say that, yeah. Clarify your question just a little bit, just in case I'm not answering it properly. Do a loved one that has passed send someone your way that they want you to connect with? Yes, but they do that in form of getting an appointment, which sounds really silly, but I don't like walk through malls anymore or restaurants or stores and go, oh my gosh, there's a spirit there and they're talking to me. Not at all. That's not my experience. When I'm in a store, a restaurant, out, wherever the heck I go, which I don't. But if I were to be social and go out, I would not be hearing other people's people. I've made it clear that if I am to help someone, have them come to me. I'm not going to go out and find people. I think it's very unethical to go up to people just randomly and out of the blue and say, hey, by the way, I got your dad here and he says, hey, what's up? And he loves you. I don't think that's ethical. Even though you might say, oh my God, I would love if someone did that. And to a degree, I might like if someone did that too, but I never want to take on that assumption that people believe in this. And so I don't. I respect people's boundaries, and I just use the statement to them. If I am supposed to help your loved ones, have them find a way to me, whether that's a gallery, a private reading, however it manifests, that's what I do so that they come to me. We opened the calendar today for December appointments, and of course we get literally like 10 minutes after it opened, they were all filled, and then all of a sudden I hear the office phone ringing and ringing. And I was in my office, I was meditating in between sessions, and I hear Michelle going, all right, all right, all right, oh my God, stop yelling at me. And I'm like laughing to myself, but the phone rang nonstop today. So the people who are like yelling and carrying on and saying, this is bullshit, we hate your system and we hate you, which they do, you guys, could you believe that? Will say, I'm going to go somewhere else. I say, thank you. I feel like, okay, someone is protecting me from someone's energy field's not supposed to be here. If you're supposed to get a reading from me, you're going to get a reading from me. If you're supposed to go to someone else, you're going to go and find your way to that person. That's how it works. On that note, too, you guys, this is like, it's kind of a secret, but it's not really a secret because I think Michelle announced this to my mailing list. So if you're not on my mailing list, go to deborahhanlon.com, click sign up to be on the mailing list so that you can be notified of upcoming appointments and anything that we offer last minute. But Black Friday, this Friday, I have a very limited number of gift certificates that we offer. This is my, I think, 3rd year doing this, where I know people at the holidays, they want to buy a gift for someone. And a lot of times they want to buy a session with me, which I feel is like so cool and amazing. And I know when you're buying someone a gift, usually for the rest of the year, you buy a gift certificate, you still have to log on at the time we open the calendar. You're not guaranteed a appointment just because you get a gift certificate. Because logically, think about it. Think about why I do that. If you bought a gift certificate and got a guaranteed appointment, everyone would just buy gift certificates, right? So we can't do it that way. So if you get a gift certificate, they have to sign up the same way. It's frustrating, and I get that. But once a year, Black Friday, I release a limited amount with a gift certificate, and you get the date. We can't change the date. Whatever Michelle gives you, if you get a half-hour session, a 1-hour session, Michelle sends you the gift certificate. That's the date, the time and date that you get. It's already put into your gift certificate. And they're starting right after Christmas through February. So there's a limited amount, and those are available Friday, and I don't know what time. So you might have to, oh God, if I tell you to email her, she's going to kill me. I think it's 11 a.m., but don't hold me to that because I really don't know. She did tell me today, but I totally forgot. But Friday, it's happening. Pretend it's 9 a.m. Go to my website. It's what's there is there. As soon as they're gone, they're gone. Last year, they go really, really fast. So if you want one, you have to log on at the time. You can't email her and say, hey, reserve one for me. Can't do that. Yes, you could buy one for yourself. That's totally fine. But I'm pretty sure she did put a limit to 1 per person so that I think there was a limit. Maybe it wasn't 1, maybe it was 2. That part I don't remember. So that's out there. That is out there. Oh my gosh. Let's see. We got a lot of questions. Oh my God, Mary. Mary says, a psychic who recently told me that my dead grandmother cursed me, and that's why I've not met a significant other. Is this possible? No. Why would your dead grandmother curse you? Seriously, that makes the assumption that your deceased grandmother is pissed off and angry and wants to take it out on you, which is completely the opposite of the energy that they are when they passed. So even if she was here and say you had a grandmother that believed in curses when she was physically here, if she put a curse on her future granddaughter, one, she'd be nuts. That would be a psychopath. So we would just negate her actions anyway. But say she believed in curses and she wanted to curse her granddaughter, that wouldn't stick either. So no, that's bullshit. I'm so tired of these psychics. Why don't tell anybody what I do? Because that's just crazy. That's cockamamie, like Salem witch trials shit to me. It really is. It's like, oh my God, evolve, psychics. Psychics out there, evolve your craft, please. If you're selling fear or getting people to think they need you, stop. Get over yourselves. There's my public service announcement of me being a total bitch. But I'm going to speak the truth. I'm tired of it. Oh my God, Kieran, hello. How is your semester going? I know you're almost done. It's Thanksgiving time, so you probably have 2 more weeks at Iona. So thank me, Maria. Mary, get your money back. Exactly. Melanie, yes, I think I do have misophonia. Yeah, I definitely I hate like repetitive noises for sure. What about driving? Justin, if you're still here, driving in the car and you hear like some little rattling noise. Oh my God. There's a demon in my car. There's a demon in my car in the name of like some old CD somewhere in the glove compartment. I don't know. I don't have CDs anymore. So that stuff makes me crazy. All right. Do loved ones who pass communicate through the radio? Absolutely. Radio waves, frequencies, that's a very common way, or like when I say easy way, it's just it's a level of frequency. So yes, certain songs will come on the radio. These are not coincidences. I also don't want people to get completely sign happy, overly everything is a sign. But I always say you'll know a sign when you have that feeling of like, oh my God, wow, oh, that was a sign. Thank you. That sort of feeling. That's how you know. Oh my God. Oh, see, Greg has answered. Jennifer, thank you so much today for your message. That's all I'm going to say about that because I don't want to cry. Kieran, when you pass over, do you think we are allowed to look at past and future events of our lives or other people's lives? Yes, we definitely do. I love you too. Is it true we're united with our previous pets? Absolutely, 100%. If we lose someone significant in our lives while we're a young child, we may be intuitive to those who have passed. Yes, I think I talked about that last week a little bit, or 2 weeks ago, where I was actually part of a study where they were trying to link the ability of a medium with early childhood trauma of some sort. And that could be abuse. That could be, in my case, it was early death in the family and then subsequent family dynamics that were going off. And I think there is something to that. I really do, because having my brother die when I was so young, during a very, very open, like spiritual time of 3 years old, I was 3, he was 4. Then having a lot of like family things happen in my life, I really do think made me very astute into the emotional temperature of the room, of seeing how people are feeling. And stories of me, it was always me like doing funny things or dancing to get people to laugh because I didn't want people to be sad. And so that was always like what everyone said. So I think I learned that like, oh, they're not feeling right. I need to do this. Or I could be holding their hand. I could be tender too, or soft. But tender, that's not a word I usually use for myself. That's for damn sure. But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, it's late. So yes, I do think that there is a correlation between losing someone very early on, particularly around the age of 3, 2.5, 2 to 4 years old, somewhere in there, I think is really the key years there. I don't know whatever came of that study. I wasn't allowed to know. Probably they were like, and Deborah Hanlon's 50 Shades of Bullshit. I don't know. Maybe they said that. Let's see. You had a dream last night about me sleeping on my stomach and someone was shaking me by my arms. What does that mean? That's more of a personal intuitive question. But I also don't do, well, I don't do dream analysis. That's not my forte, but usually I can figure that out. But that's more along the lines of like personal intuitive. So probably won't be able to answer that one. Christina, I dream about my cousin who passed away, but others in my family do not. Are some people prone to receive dreams? Yes, some people are prone to receive dreams. I have only had 2 visitation dreams my whole life. One was my grandfather. I wrote about it in the book, and one was in the last couple of years, and it was a former client. So I just think some people are prone to remember, and some people are not. And it doesn't mean that they're not coming to. It just means that we're not what do you call it? Like remembering it. I'm reading your comments. 50 Shades of Bullshit, LOL. Oh my God, crackhead. I'm dead. This is why I love you. Thank you. I know. I spew craziness at times. I just get so pissed. Crazy psychics. My grandmother died in my home. Is there anything I should do to cleanse the room? It's been a year and it's empty now, but I can't seem to do anything with it. You don't need to clean it. If you just need like a fresh energy, I'm big on bells. Just little bells, big bells. Ring the bells, sound vibration, singing bowls, anything with vibration of sound. You could use a radio or that kind of, but I would say more sound waves that are a little more intense, like bells or singing bowls, chimes. They send waves, and I always explain this, that imagine the waves of sound are going through the room and kind of like sweeping away any old or stuck energy. I have bells on the doors at the entrance of the center. I have bells hanging up all over the center, and a tiny little string of bells that I literally hit in between every single session as a cleanse of everyone's energy who is here for one session needs to go as I prepare the room for the next session coming in. So I do like bells the most. Some people love sage. I don't like the smell of it. But I would say bells. Use bells. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Oh, Tanya, you are not a meditation failure. You just have to keep doing it and use your imagination. So maybe you're seeing, like if I say imagine the red, maybe you're not really seeing red, because I'll be honest, I don't see red, but I know what red feels like because that's how I experience color. It's more of a feeling to me than a visual. So maybe you want to visualize a strawberry or something raspberry, something red, or a piece of clothing, whatever it is that it takes. So just start to make your own associations with the colors, even if it seems like crazy. Just use your imagination. That's the best way to have good good turnout, good outcome. See, I'm starting to get tired. Good outcome in your meditation. You're not a meditation failure. Do I do phone sessions or FaceTime? You live in Georgia. Oh my God. I don't at this time because I constantly have issues with technology, and talking on the phone drains my energy. Trust me. Anybody who knows me knows I hate talking on the phone. So I used to, and I don't. It's unlikely that I'll go back to it. Every once in a while, I'll say, okay, maybe I will, but for the most part, I don't. The people who I do are my former clients out in Los Angeles, who I used to go back and forth about 7-8 years ago. I used to go back and forth all the time to Los Angeles, and I stopped that once I got divorced and my kids kind of stayed with me. So I stopped going back and forth. But those are the people who I typically do phone appointments for. Okay, so what can you do to hear the messages from your guides more clearly? Again, use your imagination. I know that sounds crazy, but say like, okay, imagine what your guide looks like. Imagine what your angels look like, your loved ones, whatever it is you want to connect with. Just use your imagination, and notice your imagination will just run with it. It'll go off and go, wow, oh my gosh, they have a sword, or they have this, or they're very calm. And so just really plug in that way, or take one of my intuitive development classes that'll add in after the new year. Do bad or evil people pay for their behaviors after death? Absolutely. Going back to what I was saying before with the ripple effect, when we make fun of somebody or hurt someone's feelings in even a superficial, unintentional way, we will feel the ripple effect of our own actions to whomever we hurt here. So imagine the ripple effects of people who have done really bad and evil things. Hitler's, the crazy madmen of and women of the decades. Um, they have a massive ripple effect. I mean, Hitler is still feeling the ripple effect because the people he killed have children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren that are still feeling the effects of his evil. So the ripple effect still goes on and on. So I am going to close up. I do want to do a little meditation with you. I do want to send energy to Annette's family, and Annette knows who she is, and Annette's family, and those of you who know her as well. Annette is one special woman who has come to me for a few years, and I just love and adore her. And I ran into her, Greg and I ran into her on Saturday at Lowe's, and she and I were both kind of laughing about how much we don't like to be in Lowe's because it's just blah. And so her husband and Greg went off and did what they needed to do in Lowe's, and we we stood in the middle of Lowe's and talked. And I'm so grateful for that interaction because thanks to Jen, who let me know that she passed away very suddenly this morning. So I just want to remind all of you that, one, I want to send so many condolences to Annette's family because she is just an amazing woman and I adore her with every bit of my being. And as soon as we left her, we gave her a big hug. And I even walked away and I said to Greg, God, I love that woman so much. And then not even 48 hours later, she's passed. I know she's thrilled. I'm not mourning for her. I'm mourning for all of us who will miss her. But she is reunited with her son, which was ultimately the greatest heartache in her life. So I'm happy for her that she is with him. And I want to remind you that even though I'm a medium, even though I do this and I'm in this world 24/7, it still does not take away pain. And being human, and it hurts, and it's sad. And I'm not grieving for her. I know she's so happy and free, but it's us, and I want to remind all of us to be kinder, to take the time. Sorry. Take the time to talk and say hello and check in on people and show them they care. Not just the main significant people in your lives, but those on the outskirts, because that's all we have is our humanity. And if we can't give ourselves 2 seconds for that at least once a day, really it's just a waste to be here. So although I know she's fine and I know I can connect with her, it's still a shock and it's sad. And I adore her and her family. And I want to remind all of you to just go that extra mile. I'm so grateful for stepping into Lowe's on Saturday. And I normally hate Lowe's. I always hate Lowe's. But I'm so grateful. I had that one last hug with her, and I will cherish those 15 minutes forever. So with that, I kind of sounds crazy to say I want you to have a happy holiday, but I want you to think about one another. And I also don't want to make this about me. I'm more sad for her family. But yeah, I want you to remember that if you're feeling sad, you should when we lose someone, because we're human. And just because you can connect with them in spiritual form doesn't solve all of the pain, and it's not supposed to. And it's a nice awareness to know that their consciousness goes on and they've got the good spot. And I do have that awareness and knowledge of that of her, but I am deeply grieving her for her family who are so shocked, and I just love them all so much. So with that, When you log off, whether on Facebook or here, just take a moment to energetically send energy and love and healing to someone you know, whether it's someone tuning in or not. Write a quick note, send a text, a Facebook message, just saying, thinking of you. You made a difference. I love you. I miss you. Just do that to someone. And that's your homework for tonight, to spread that love and make someone else know that they've really made a difference in your life. That's what it's about. So thank you all so much for all of your attention and staying with me for an hour and a half plus on a Monday night before Thanksgiving. And I will see you. Maybe I will come on Thanksgiving Day briefly after having a coffee martini or five. So have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I will see you all soon. Good night.